Welcome back to the second video on the Make Insurgency Great Again series, where I'm going to be talking about a question that's been popping out a lot lately. Basically, every single day I hear this question. And the question is, why aren't you playing Insurgency Sandstorm as much any longer? And we're going to be going through a lot on my whiteboard here. I'm going to be having a rant where I go through what I feel of the game right now and what I feel that the developers and the guys asking the questions needs to hear. So we're gonna jump right into it, okay? I recently watched this video. It's basically a 50-minute long video where they go through a lot of things, all the way from how the development team looks right now, how it looked in the past, all the way to cosmetics, ballistics, and eventually penetration, ricochets, and armor. And I found this video very, very rewarding for me, and I feel like I understand a lot more than I did before. A lot of the things that I hear here isn't really that new, and but it was a good video to watch, and I'm really thankful for NVI that you released this kind of info. And before I go over and trash talk the fuck out of you, I would just like to give you a lot of credit for what credit is due. One of the things that I really want to give you a thumbs up for is the communication that you have with the community right now, with through Reddit, through Twitter, through polls, through Discord. Me personally, I've been talking a lot to Alex, so I want to say good job regarding that. I don't really feel like I've had the dialogue I really want to have with you guys yet, but regardless, I understand, and I want the best for you. I want to do the best I can for you to get the feedback you need, because I feel like I'm kind of obliged to do that. I've been one of those streamers since back in August, since the beta, that's been on top of the Twitch charts every time I've been streaming, basically. There's been occasions where a big time streamer comes in and brings a lot more viewers, but I've been one of the bigger streamers, and through that I have been talking to a lot of folks. I basically increased my follower base from 300 to 2,000, something I'm really glad for and I'm really happy about. So if that kind of explains my motivation to keep this game alive, right? I've shown a lot of passion for this game. I have a lot of passion for this game, but I kind of feel like NVI is shooting themselves in the foot with this game, okay? And one of those things are pretty obvious, right? We can look at what the player base looks like. It's been declining ever since it was released. It's finally starting to increase again. It was down to an average of 1,300 back in May, right? And that's not good numbers. And I'm sure that NVI isn't super pleased with that. And I'm sure that's giving them some hints at what to do about it. And they're starting to get an increase right here, which is nice, but it's not what I feel like it should be. I don't even think that 8,000 is remotely what they want, right? And so as the viewer numbers. The average viewers the past 90 days has been 39, right? Back in December, let's see if we can check that out. Back in December, we had an average of 500, 200, 4,500, 6,842, slowly declining back and normalizing at around, yeah, pretty low numbers. It basically choked out in February. And I think a big reason for why it choked out in February is because of the competitive players leaving the game and telling other players not to buy the game, and because it just wasn't ready for it yet. Because the thing is, the game in its current state is a perfect game for a casual player that just wants to play a little bit every day, not even every day, maybe has 10 games he's playing, and this is one of them, and he just wants to go some co-op. He doesn't have the skills to really master the mechanics of the game. He just wants to feel like a little bit of immersion, maybe wants to do a little bit of mill sim and have some fun with the boys. but there is no long-term longevity or content for anybody who's playing a game every day or that just wants to master something. There's no reward for putting in the effort to get good at this game right now. And that's where I feel you are lacking, NVI. You don't have the competitive nourishment or any other thing to really grind for. The cosmetic system is a good way. Like it's not bad, but it's not as rewarding as I feel like it should be. And I think one of the reasons why it's not is because the player models aren't looking cool, right? The player models don't look that cool, so the cosmetic items won't look so cool either. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better, but animations and the overall third-person look to the game isn't where it should be, in my opinion. The first-person animations, the first-person feel when you're reloading, the gunplay, how it looks, how the gunplay looks from a first-person perspective is amazing, and you've done a great job at that. But the third-person and the overall animations when you look at somebody, except for the ragdolls. The ragdolls are amazing. I gotta tell you this. The ragdolls are amazing. The sound quality is amazing. The map design is great. The new maps are awesome. I've been playing the new maps now for a little bit, and I have it on my highlight in my videos here. You can watch it if you want, where I go through the ministry map. You can also see the other map on the test client from the previous patch, but that was a little bit buggy, so I didn't really play it that much. But you can see it here on my YouTube or my Twitch channel if you want to. But the overall feel of the game doesn't really convince people, I feel like, to really put effort into playing the game. And I think one of the reasons are, this might seem like a small detail, but this is the restricted zones painted, and these have been worse, right? These have been even worse, but right now you can kind of see how you've painted these restricted zones. They're not really that consistent. Here you can see the blue, it's not going all the way down. This one is, and then there's another square over here, and then a tilted square inside the square. This just gives a really amateuristic feeling to a player, a new player like myself. I notice these things. I'm thinking, like, if they can't get this right, what can they get right? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to bash you, or I kind of am, but you need to get these small details right and fix them. I would suggest before you launch this game for PS4. I can understand that you want to launch a PS4, you know, a PS4 release, you know, ASAP, because that might give you, you know, a little bit of a revenue, but I think you would do a lot better if you perfect the game first before you release it and really, you know, market it. So, I don't know, like, maybe there's more long-term ideas in your development team that I'm not familiar with or know about, but I feel like you really need to get this game flourishing first before you start releasing it, you know, to a broader audience. I'm sure you should do it, but if you looked at, like, PUBG with their Xbox release, it wasn't really that great. It really wasn't. It was quite bad, honestly. But me personally, like I said, I've been streaming your game since August. I've been listening to players, I've been listening to developers coming in talking to me, I've been listening to casual players, friends of friends, people from around the world. I have friends now on Twitch that are located all across the globe that likes to watch me play, and most of them came to my stream through Insurgency, and I'm really thankful for that. But I also have a lot of friends that I play with that are good FPS players after playing a game for 7,000 hours. I played Counter-Strike for 7,000 hours, and these are just numbers from 2014, okay? I think I played Dota back in 2013. I think I started 2013. But all these numbers are from 2013 and up. And if you calculate this, this is over 10,000 hours. This is almost ridiculous numbers. I've been playing so much video games lately that I feel like I have so much knowledge about game mechanics, you know, just what makes a game good, what people think of games, etc. Especially FPS shooters. I've been playing video games since I was 3 years old. But I feel like you're asking questions to the masses that are playing the game right now, and they're not necessarily really, you know, experienced players. The guys that want to play these co-op games, they're not really hardcore players. But if you want to get a big number, I would suggest you know, look at what the other big games are doing well. Like, which games are big? Fortnite, League of Legends, Dota 2, Grand Theft Auto, World of Warcraft, PlayerUnknown, Counter-Strike, etc., etc. Rainbow Six isn't maybe doing as well anymore, but it's a big game. Why? Because it has a competitive nature to it. Fortnite has a competitive nature to it. League of Legends definitely has it. Dota 2 has it. It's all competitive games where if you put a lot of effort into playing the game, you will excuse me. If you put a lot of effort into the game, you will reap the rewards of that experience. You will either get better at the game, or you will, in, like, for example, World of Warcraft Classics version, you will receive items that make you a better player. Same with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, super competitive game, last man standing. Even in a casual game mode, it's still competitive. But for Insurgency, there is no competitive feel to it. The better you get, it doesn't matter. It just gets boring because everybody else is just not so good at the game. And you don't really play versus better players the better you get. You play versus the same players over and over again. And that gets really, really boring for a player like myself. And all of the friends I have that also love to play competitively. And the reason being, I think, that you're not really nourishing the game competitively is because you're changing mechanics to please the less skilled or less hardcore players. By basically lowering the skill ceiling of the game, and I think that punishes you. I think that punishes you hard. I think the changes you made to the hipfire back in the day did not work well for you. It did not work well for you. It just reduced the skill ceiling. People were complaining about the game being too fast-paced, but the reason being, I think it was too fast-paced, was genuinely because they were facing players way better than they are. If I would be playing chess versus Magnus Carlsen, you know, I would fucking think that chess is fast-paced, yes? But it's not really, if we would be playing on the same level of skill. So, yeah. That's what I think about Insurgency Sandstorm right now. It does not cater for the long term. It's a one and done kind of game right now. It feels really good in the beginning, but once you start looking past the atmosphere, once you start looking past the map design, once you start looking past everything else, and you get that, you start to get good, you start to master the mechanics, and you start to really, really shine in the game, there's just nothing left for you to play. And it just gets repetitive and boring. The current meta of the competitive game mode is MK14, full auto, foregrip, nade, no armor. And everybody's using it. Every single one. There's almost not a single match where I'm playing where there's just not 4 MK14s and 4 FALs playing. And quite frankly, that's really, really, really boring. And I think you really need to work on your game mechanics for this game to really, really, really stand out among the masses. I feel like I have some really good ideas. I've felt like I've given you some ideas about it in my previous video. Maybe they weren't super understandable or relatable, and I really, really wish that I could have a dialogue with some of you guys to really share you my ideas, what I think of the game. And as you can see on my whiteboard here, there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. LMGs, armor, attachments, weapon meta, main menu, player models, animation, you know, UI interface, user friendliness, integrated map bands, you know, pistol details, cosmetics, you know, hit scan, animations, etc., etc. But especially one thing that I really want to talk about is the hipfire and the gunplay mechanics, because right now they're not good. They're good for players that don't master the game mechanics, but they're bad for anybody that knows how to play and wants to get good at the game. And I think even the casuals would enjoy the game the way I feel like it should be played. And there's probably compromise to be, you know, that I could probably find a solution for you if you ask me and we had a dialogue, but I can only do so much from this chair. But yeah, I really, really hope you fix your game. I really, really hope that you reach your goals. But as it stands right now, I don't think you're gonna be catering to a big audience if the game continues to progress the way it's progressing right now. Sure, you have success with these patches, but to me personally, maps isn't gonna cut it. People are gonna get bored of these maps quickly, and it's gonna go back. You have to make some bigger changes. And I think gunplay is the way to go. You can have the most incredible gunplay in this game because you have all the other factors. But yeah, the reason I'm not playing Insurgency Sandstorm is just because of this. There's just not enough longevity in the game. And the viewer numbers really speak for themselves. You have 39 average viewers for the past 90 days. Hopefully everything is gonna go up, and if they do, I will reap the benefits as well, and I hope so. I hope that happens because I want to play your game. I want to love your game the way I loved it the first time I started playing it. And I wish that we could have a better partnership to help each other out. Anyway, that's it for me. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.